All right, we are here. This is our Summer I Turned Pretty recap segment, episode 8. What an episode. I feel like every episode we say that. But
I know.
From this point forward, these episodes are, it's like, like every single thing that happens is a dagger to the soul, a dagger to the heart. A shock, awe, I gasped. I don't even know how many times I gasped this episode.
Yeah.
And I think this one was one that people were really waiting for. It's the wedding day.
Yeah, completely agree. It's, pretty much the catalyst moment of the book. Also very interesting. It's pretty much the end of the book was this episode.
Really?
Yeah. So there's an epilogue. The epilogue is about 3 pages.
Oh.
2 pages.
Interesting.
So from now on out,
it's uncharted territory.
Yeah, exactly. We know, little details because the epilogue is basically like, can I just say it doesn't ruin anything.
Honestly, at this point, I feel like I feel like I know.
So the book ends and basically it's like, oh, this happened and then this happened and then now I'm happy and blah blah blah. I'm trying not to say spoilers.
Yeah,
but it's like this, and now the book's over.
It's almost like they
it
just
doesn't give
wrapped
any
it up
details.
quick.
Exactly.
Yeah,
it wraps up so fast.
Right.
It doesn't give you any details about her well, she's technically in Spain in the book.
Yeah.
But doesn't give you any details about her time in Spain. She's
That's
like
funny. Spain instead of Paris.
Yeah.
Like, why that switch, I wonder.
Yeah,
Paris
I don't know. Maybe
because
Paris is more romantic.
That's funny.
And so very interesting because we still have 3 more episodes. So
right.
It's kind of up to
17th?
Jenny Han at this point.
Let's see. 1, 2, 3. Yep, 3 more episodes.
Yeah.
Very interesting. So, and that actually was going to be my first question to you was how book accurate is this episode?
Extremely.
Yeah. Okay, love that.
Yeah.
Love to hear it. We open up the episode with Us playing.
Yes. Such a great
music.
song.
Such a great song.
Yeah.
And great
The music in this
throughout.
episode was great.
Really good, especially towards the end. I cried my fucking eyes out at the end.
Yeah.
So
Belly's in bed.
It's the morning after the big confession by Conrad on the beach. Belly's in bed. She's reading texts. Taylor's out for a run. She thinks she's got the house to herself.
Yeah. She is listening to a voicemail from Jeremiah saying that he's out on the boat and he'll see her later. He's so excited to get married, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, she thinks she's in the house by herself. She goes downstairs and she immediately runs into Conrad.
Obviously. He's like ever present, Conrad.
Yeah.
Like there's nothing that
no matter what, she can't escape
He's always
him.
going to be there.
Yeah.
That voicemail from Jeremiah, I was like, I thought it was good of him to leave the voicemail. Like now I'm starting to get, I'm not team Jeremiah at all
I know
anymore,
what you mean.
but I am starting to have those feelings of like, damn, he really is in the fucking dark at this point in the episode. I'm like, he really just has no fucking idea what's going on. He has no idea how foolish he made himself look last night, and to leave her a quick voicemail of like, hey Belle, sorry I didn't catch our beach meeting. Like my punishment's that I'm hungover on a boat with the boys. See you later. It's like, I think in the real world that would maybe fly. If you're like really in love and getting married, like you don't get hung up on stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I don't know, like what he didn't even like come in the morning and wake her up before he
left.
left.
Yeah, it's just weird.
I don't know.
Like you get blacked out drunk and then we don't meet up on the beach.
I think it required a little more than a voicemail.
I agree.
Yeah.
So Belly and Conrad run into each other in the kitchen. Conrad kind of hits her with the like, hey, like let's just kind of forget about everything that happened. This immediately pisses Belly off.
Yep.
She's like, what the fuck are you saying? Like, she's like, I want you to leave. Like, I don't want to see you right now. Like, stop. He kind of pivots because he realizes that he just needs to be honest.
Yep.
And he's like, all right, like, what do you want me to say? Like, do you want me to say that you broke my fucking heart and like you shut me down?
This
and
was
like
emotional. I had chills during this part.
Yeah, it was so emotional.
Apologies from Conrad.
Yeah. He just was like, you shut me down, you broke my heart. Like, and Belly kind of hits him with like, we dated for 6 months in high school. Like, I didn't think you like felt this way, blah, blah. And like, it's been years. And he was like, well, it hasn't been years since Christmas. Yeah. And she kind of was like, ooh.
I wrote all caps, clock her shit, Conrad.
Yeah.
Because that was a good point. Like, Belly's thoughts, feelings during these moments, like Christmas, and then Conrad also brings up the cut on his leg, and then Michael's, for the cute stuff, and like having those sweet days together. And I think that obviously in her quest to push down her emotions and feelings towards Conrad, she's not acknowledging the fact that, like, yes, these moments were so palpable between them that of course Conrad could sense it.
Yeah.
It's not just Belly sitting there being like, oh my God, when she's cleaning his cut or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, she's not delusional in those feelings. And I think that she is so twisted up in her own brain that she is like allowing herself or instructing herself to believe that these are delusions, and there's not a chance in the world that Conrad actually does feel the same way she does.
And I think that's why
this is the big reveal.
Yeah,
you know?
I think that's why she reacts so angrily as well. Like, because she's just like, one, you're doing it the day before my wedding.
Right.
Two, he's like, bring up all these moments. Yeah, all these moments that you had to bring it up. Right. And so, like, I think,
which is super fair by Belly to be upset by that.
Yeah, 100%.
It's like, what the fuck, you know? And, you know, the sentiment still stands. Like, yeah, we get it. Conrad's still in love with Belly, but he just had a lot of opportunity, specifically this summer.
Yeah.
I understand if he feels this inherent need to stay away from Belly and Jeremiah the whole time and, you know, 4 years, whatever the fuck. But they've been there for 2 months.
Yeah.
And he hasn't said shit. So it's tough.
Yeah. So Conrad is, you know, bringing up, like you said, the surfing incident, the Michaels, all this stuff. And she says that she felt nothing during those times.
Liar.
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 And Conrad's like, I'm not pretending for you anymore. Like, I can't act like I don't love you. And she basically is like, as he like walks away, she's like, I've never felt like so many emotions. I only feel this way when I'm with Conrad. Like, I feel like angry. I feel love. I feel all these things. And
he called her heartless.
Yeah.
Because she called him heartless first.
Yeah.
And then he was like, actually, I think it's you. I think you're the heartless one. And in that moment, he sold me on that.
Yeah.
Like, I think that they are both equally to blame, but I do think that Belly is almost refusing to, again, in her own self-protection, she's refusing to see how she's like dismissing his feelings in the same way that she felt he did to her.
And it's almost like the absurdity of it all. And we'll get to that later with Taylor, but like, he just expects Belly to be like, yep, okay, actually, I do I've loved you this whole time. Let's bail on the wedding and run away together. Like, obviously, it's not going to work like that. And I think Belly, her frustration shows in that sense as well. Like, he really just expects me to drop everything and run off with him.
Absolutely.
And then as he's kind of walking away, she's like, I don't think I'll ever be able to let him go. Like, I think a piece of me will always love Conrad, blah, blah. And he's like, he gets in the car and you can tell he's just kind of like, what the fuck just happened?
Right. Which is, you know, and I think everything about that scene just perfectly encapsulates their miscommunication over the last 4 or 5 years. Like, if they had that conversation 3 years ago, even at Christmas, things would be different. Yeah.
So then she goes upstairs. She finds Junior Mint, the little polar bear that Conrad got for her.
Aww.
He's wearing
on the boardwalk, right?
Yeah. He's wearing the infinity necklace. And she basically says, like, my whole life, like, I thought it was Conrad, blah, blah. And she basically says, like, she can't bet her whole life on Conrad.
Fair.
Which
also
is fair because I feel like he's putting her through the ringer. She's like, how can I bet my life on this guy that's wish-washy?
He's very hot and cold.
Yeah.
And that is something that makes Belly uncomfortable. I think that it is exciting to her in general, but I do think she's uncomfortable with that uncertainty. And I think that a little shortly after, and jump in if I am skipping something, but when Conrad runs into Taylor.
Yeah, that's what happens next.
Right. And so Taylor is like
on a run,
and she doesn't know. She hasn't actually heard from Belly exactly what happened.
Yeah.
But of course, it doesn't matter. She's standing 10 toes down for her girl. She'll do whatever she needs. And the line she said to Conrad amidst their arguing, and she's kind of like, leave her alone, whatever. But she says, I don't think you're capable of being the person that she needs, and you know that. And I was like, oh,
yeah,
because I do think that that's kind of clocking his shit too.
Yeah.
Like he hasn't proven himself capable up until this point of being able to like
be like a steady
like be her rock, which is what you're supposed to be when you're in a relationship, getting married, and you're that serious. And not to say that he couldn't eventually get to that point, and maybe he's turned over as many leaves as he can, and he will be that moving forward, but nothing up until this point has shown that that is the case.
And I also really love the line when she was like, you can't just like play with her feelings every time you remember she exists.
Yes.
And he hits her with like, I never forgot she existed.
I know.
Conrad.
Which is sad.
I'm so sorry. And he goes, and I don't think she did either.
Yep.
And
he's not wrong.
Yeah, he's not wrong.
He's not
and,
wrong.
And
He's
you can
just
see
saying
it in
what everybody's
Taylor's
saying.
face too. Like when he goes, and I don't think she did either. And Taylor's like, fuck, like you're right.
This is the moment I think that Taylor's finally is like, fuck.
Yeah.
Like, all right, I can't
Like
just
these two obviously want to be together.
Yeah, like I can't just. Obviously, she's trying to back her friend, be supportive of her friend. But even when Belly and Jeremiah got engaged, Taylor was like, "What the fuck?" At first, like she wasn't. She did not think. Sorry, I think I'm worried that I'm messing with the microphone. She did not think that was an amazing idea, and I think that she's always known that Belly and Conrad had a different kind of relationship than anybody else would ever have.
Yeah,
and I'm sure part of her hesitancy when they got engaged was like, you have all this mess with his brother still, and these unresolved feelings, and
he cheated on you,
and he cheated on you, and like all this shit. And that's another thing is when Taylor is talking to Conrad, I'm sure she's thinking about all those things.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Okay, Conrad was a dick to her when she was in high school, and they dated for a few months, if you want to talk in Belly terms.
Yeah.
But he didn't, shatter her heart to a million fucking pieces and cheat on her in Cabo.
Yeah.
So
yeah. So then Taylor and Belly are together. They're talking about Taylor and Conrad's conversation with her and with Taylor and Conrad, and Taylor's kind of like, did I do the right thing? Like, I'm not really sure.
Yeah.
And Belly reassures her, and she's like, yeah, you did. Like, yes, like that's what I wanted you to do. So then Laurel and John arrive for the rehearsal. Belly looks gorgeous. She's wearing a really cute white dress. I really love that dress.
I love that dress. Little drop waist.
Yeah, so cute.
Really flattering on her.
Yeah.
Lola's beautiful.
She is so gorgeous.
I feel like every episode she's like more beautiful than the last.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Conrad is at the rehearsal.
Yep.
She is not happy to see him there.
Absolutely pissed.
She
told him to skip town. She said, get the fuck out of here. Like, leave.
She's like, I don't want to see your face.
Yeah.
She still has not talked to Jared at this point, and she finally does see him at the rehearsal, but he's getting whisked away from Paige, the wedding director. And
can I say something about that? I hated that moment because I get what they're doing with that, where it's like, oh, we're so busy and whatever. And Jeremiah is just so fucking clueless. He can't see it all over Belly's face that she really needs to talk to him. And maybe that's why I'm so pissed off about it. But like, if you're the bride and the groom and the wedding planner's whisking you away somewhere and trying to rush you or whatever, you can be like, hey, hold on, I need to talk to my fucking wife.
Yeah.
Give me a second.
Yeah.
Like, no one is stopping you from doing that.
Yeah.
This isn't brain surgery. You can sit for 5 minutes and talk to your fiance when she's clearly has the most pained expression on her face you've ever seen, and you didn't talk to her at all today or last night when you were too blacked out.
Yeah.
Like,
100%. Give me 5 minutes. I need to talk to my future wife.
Jeremiah could absolutely have done that, and he didn't, which is
so
frustrating.
they practice the wedding. Belly looks beautiful. Everyone's smiling. Conrad looks like he wants to kill himself.
Oh, yeah. I said that I think Jeremiah, and I think later in the episode we do kind of see this, Jeremiah, like, feels Conrad's energy next to him.
Yeah, for sure.
They're up there standing. People are fake walking down the aisle. Why didn't Belly's dad fake walk her down the aisle?
Yeah, I don't know.
Weird, right? But so they're standing up there, and Jeremiah kind of like looks. Conrad's sitting there looking like it's his funeral.
Yeah.
And Jeremiah's kind of like not even looking at Conrad, but kind of looking in his direction. And I'm not sure if that was like intentional acting or whatever. But in that moment, I was like,
he
he
can feel the tension.
Yeah, they can feel the tension. He can feel that like Conrad something's brewing with Conrad.
Yeah.
And Jeremiah's on the out.
So then it's the rehearsal dinner. They're at a restaurant. Conrad actually compliments Kaylee on the table, which I thought was sweet.
I agree. And I said, it was actually a beautiful table.
Yeah,
it really was.
She did a great job.
Yeah, she did.
And, we don't condone her actions, but that was very mature of Conrad.
Yes, it was.
So then Steven's flirting with Denise, and Taylor's like looking over at them sad. She's talking to Lucinda about it. She's like, oh, like, I'm really sorry for being such a bitch to you last night. Lucinda's like, I love you. Like, you're my daughter. Like, I'm supposed to be the mom. You're supposed to be the daughter. Like,
I'm glad they made up quick.
Yeah, me too.
Because that would have broke my heart. Because I think that while they do have a strange relationship, because Lucinda is, she's cuckoo, but I think that they, ultimately they have such a sweet mother-daughter bond. One that I've never really seen that kind of bond in real life. And I think it's nice. But what was I gonna say? Oh wait, did we? Oh wait, sorry, two things. My brain's moving too fast. One, love that Lucinda is like, yeah, I know my ex-boyfriend like robbed me blind and whatever. Like, I'm not gonna let that happen again, I swear. Yeah. And she's like, Taylor's like, wait, you know? She's like, yeah, I figured it out. But, like, you should have told me. Yeah. Kind of crazy. It like took her. I mean, she should have known right away, but you know.
That just shows how fucking out of it she is.
Exactly.
Also,
then,
sorry.
When did because I have Laurel in here. When did Conrad and Laurel have that? Did Conrad and Laurel have that?
That was later.
Sorry. I have it written down because when Belly's parents show up to the club for the rehearsal, they go up to her, they're sweet, the meeting or whatever, and Belly's like, are you sure you don't want to talk me out of it one more time? Yeah. And Laurel's like, nope, I'm all on board. You know what's best for you. And just like big hugs, walk in, whatever. And I just thought that was really, really sweet of Laurel. She's, trusting Belly to
just put on a brave face,
make her own choices, make her own mistakes, do whatever she's got to do. And it's just a really good mom moment. Yeah. Shout out Laurel.
Laurel is the bomb.
She's the best mom in the world. Like, I fucking love Laurel.
Yeah.
Love her.
So we're still at the restaurant. I was so out of it this morning. Obviously, I wrote Denise found a new boo. No, she didn't. I don't know. Anyway, so Jeremiah's like, oh, I don't know why I wrote that.
Did she?
Denise she found a new boo.
She was like sitting in the corner.
Like she did not find a new boo at this moment.
No.
Yeah. So I don't know what
she found a new boo like
at all. No.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know where that came from. I must have been so out of it. Anyways, Jeremiah. Her and Belly him and Belly are like, oh, Jeremiah, Belly, I got you lobster rolls just like you wanted. This guy.
Guess what I convinced Kaylee to serve?
Literally, this guy only cares about food.
I thought the exact same thing.
He only cares about food.
Only. Because in that moment, I actually thought like, oh, okay, that was thoughtful because she was kind of. I feel like that was a good example of something that was like, she didn't actually care about the lobster roll. She cared about the fact that it like turned into this big bougie bullshit. Yeah. And she wanted essentially like a backyard wedding with hamburgers and hot dogs and fucking lobster rolls. But it was nice of Jeremiah to like make that happen for her. Yeah. Even though I do think that he kind of is missing the point of why she wanted that.
And like, I feel like he selfishly maybe almost did it for himself because he wants
of course
good food.
Yeah. It's like, you know what I was keeping an eye out for on that table was that fucking glossy cake. I was like, someone's got to put that cake on that table. Like
the mirror glaze.
The mirror glaze. Yeah. I really was like expecting it to show up.
It's so funny. So then, they eat, Belly and Jeremiah get up to give a speech. Jeremiah like kind of took a shot at Laurel during the speech almost. Like when he was like, I forget what he said exactly, but he was like, I tried to convince you to come on board, but like it took you a while, blah blah. And you could tell Belly's face was kind of like, oh, like what was the need to say that?
I think first of all, I said the speeches were meh because they were, but in this moment, Jeremiah has never been more exactly like Adam.
Oh, so oblivious and slights
to Laurel. And then later on, the slights to Conrad.
100%. He hits him with the slight of Conrad. He goes, Conrad, you're loyal as hell. Which is like just rubbing it in his face.
Like all brothers. Sometimes we love each other and sometimes, and like looks around for like laughter from the room to embarrass Conrad. Like he's so jealous of Conrad.
He's so jealous.
He's so jealous. He's so insecure around him to the point where like he has to be throwing shots during his rehearsal dinner. At his brother. It's just
so lame.
It's bad.
And then he says to Belly, he's like, Belly, I loved you first as a friend, and then I loved and then as something more. And it cuts to Conrad's face when he says, I loved you first as a friend. Because you could tell in Conrad's face, he's like, well, I literally loved her since day one. Like I never loved her as a friend. I always loved her.
Exactly. It's also kind of like stealing his vibe, you know?
For sure.
Like Jeremiah is channeling Conrad to make Belly feel good. It's like, those aren't your words, Jeremiah. Like we've never heard you talk like that to her.
100%. And then the speech is good. And everyone's like, oh, nice speech, whatever. Adam comes up to Jeremiah and Belly. He says, that was a beautiful speech. And he's like, I'm so happy that you took the job working for me, blah, blah, blah. Belly has no idea that he took this job.
Yep.
So
it is crazy. He didn't mention
crazy. It's revealed to her in this moment. She's like, "Are you gonna work in Boston? Are you gonna live at Finch? You're taking online classes?"
Yep.
He doesn't have any. He just is basically making these excuses. I'll commute. I'll do this. Blah blah blah.
I'll commute from our place, and now that I'm making all this money, we can afford that apartment. Ugh. And all of a sudden. And I do think in some like delusional alternate reality, he does think that he's like doing the right thing and providing for Belly.
Yes.
Like I think that is why he took that job, so they could get the apartment, so he can like make it all good for her.
But that's not the husband that Belly wants.
No, it's not what she wants.
Yeah, she doesn't want someone that's going to prioritize work over her life. And she literally did not go to Paris so they could spend that semester together.
Exactly.
And now he's going to be back and forth from Finch to Boston. Yeah, it's bullshit.
Stupid as fuck.
So, they're kind of bickering over that, and Belly looks over at Conrad. Conrad's noticing them bickering, and then she immediately is like, oh, you know what? Everything's going to be fine. We'll figure it out. I love you so much. We're going to be fine, blah, blah, blah.
Fake ass Belly.
Because she could see that Conrad was picking up on them.
She's out. Oh, also in Jeremiah's big speech, that's what it was. It was I loved you first as a friend, and then it became something more, and now I know that you're my soulmate. Ugh. And I was like, oh no. Yeah. Jeremiah thinks that Belly's his soulmate. Yeah. That's sad.
And I feel like, and this is kind of revealed later on, but I know for a fact that he knows deep down inside that that's not true.
Yes.
Right?
It's like
he's just projecting.
He can see it, right? Yeah. And also, how do you not feel that? Like, I guess I don't know. Maybe
does.
You think you do. Like, you think when it's your soulmate, but I just feel like they're so. Like, yeah, they're in sync or whatever for the most part, but like, especially after the summer that they had, like, I just don't feel. I feel like they couldn't be less on the same page at this exact moment.
Totally agreed. So then they're leaving the restaurant. Super awkward moment between Conrad and Jeremiah and Belly. Belly and Jeremiah say they're going to get ice cream. Conrad walks out. Jeremiah's like, oh, Conrad, come with us. Yeah. Like, I think to just even stab him more in the chest. Yeah. Conrad's like, no, dude, I'm so tired. Like, I'm hungover, like, whatever.
He doesn't know yet. Jeremiah doesn't know yet at this point that Conrad's...
Yes, but I think he invited him to come to ice cream just to be like, let me rub in me and Belly making out in front of you.
You're right, yes, for sure.
Yeah, no, not anything extended, but... Conrad's basically like, no, man, I'm super tired. And then Jeremiah gets like pissed at him. And he's like, dude, you're my best man. Like, and you can't even hang out with me for one night. And Conrad hits him with the co-best man. Yeah. And that pisses Jeremiah off. And so and Belly's like, let's just go us two. Like, they're going to close soon, whatever.
Yeah, they're closing in 10.
Yeah.
I said Jeremiah is rude as fuck to Conrad. And I have to say, to be fair, I have to be real. If I am at my rehearsal dinner, and again, Jeremiah's living in a fake world. He's not picking up on anything that's fucking going on. So as far as he's concerned, it's his rehearsal dinner, and his brother is being a mopey piece of shit. And I would be pissed too. I'd be like, what the fuck, man? Like, you can't even pull it together for a night for me? Like, whatever.
But he knows why Conrad's being mopey.
I know. Yeah. And I think he's actively choosing to ignore all that.
Yeah.
He, I think, is probably pissed of like, get over it, dude. Like, you had your chance. Like, stop with this. Like, that in my head, that's what he's kind of feeling in this moment. And I think that it's, to sane people from the outside, it's ridiculous that he's like mad at Conrad or even expecting him to like be so involved in all this. But I do understand from like the lowest level of like, I'm getting married, my brother's moping around, and that's annoying.
Yes. And at the end of the day, like, you want your brother to be there with you for your wedding.
Of course.
So then it goes to Denise and Steven. They're at the Cousins Inn, the hotel. They're flirting, eating ice cream, and they share a kiss. And they kind of are just both like, actually, I don't really feel like this is like sparks. And they're
no spark at all.
Yeah, they're both on the same page. And they're basically like, all right, this is great. No spark. We're going to be business partners. We're going to be friends. We're going to split it 50-50. Like, this is going to work. Actually, probably going to work for the best.
I was thrilled to see this happen.
Me too.
Obviously, over the moon, just in general. That, like, Steven can now go back to Taylor. Yeah. But I don't know if I've flipped on anyone as much as I flipped on Denise. Like, I love her.
Yeah.
Love her for that.
I know. I kind of love Denise now.
She's so mature. Yeah. Like, I'm like, what was I thinking before? Like, of course, the power bitch at the firm is cool. Like, why do we? She has
her corporate persona.
Yes.
And then she has her real Denise.
Yes.
And we love real Denise.
I loved too when she said, she was like, hey, by the way, like, you didn't tell me that the rehearsal dinner was like all family.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
like,
yeah,
what the fuck,
yeah,
Steven?
yeah.
And he was like, oh, well, my sister gave me a +1. She's like, yeah, but not to this. Like, why'd you bring me to that?
Yeah.
Whatever. And
she always is like calling him everyone out on like their like weird moves.
Totally.
Yeah.
And her like social awareness and self-awareness is really high, and I appreciate that because that's so real. Like, if I'm having this rehearsal dinner and I'm like, yeah, you can bring somebody. My brother brings some random ass bitch who like I barely know, not only to my bachelorette party, but also to the rehearsal dinner. I'm like, is this your girlfriend or what? Like, and they're not even dating. So it's like, what the hell?
Yeah, that's
and I
a weird
like that
move.
She picked up on hey, this is weird, but we're already here. So whatever.
Totally. So they establish that we're just friends. We're business partners. Yep. All is well. cuts to Belly. She's in bed at the cousin's house. This is like the night of the rehearsal. She gets up to go swimming because we know Belly, like, to clear her head, she likes to go swimming at night.
Yes. What, did Conrad and Laurel speak yet at this point?
Not yet.
Damn, why do I have my shit's like all over the place?
Oh, wait.
I had that before Denise. No chemistry with Denise. Because
I thought
they were at the rehearsal dinner location. And they went outside for
Oh,
a second.
you know what? I'm so sorry. I skipped that. You're right. Sorry. So in between... I
just want to give Laurel more
for
praise.
sure. In between the ice cream awkwardness...
Yeah.
That's when Conrad is outside drinking a beer. Laurel comes outside.
Yes.
She's like, how are you doing with all this? He says, it's killing me.
And she knows. She knows that he's in love with her. And she even says, she's like, I know how much you love her. And it's like this, they really don't even need to discuss it. She knows. She said, tell me what's going on. I'm your Laura, like, whatever. And, if they kind of revert back to that moment of... they have their own special connection. Yeah. And Laurel can read him like a book. Yeah. And he can't lie to her. Yeah. And it's really sweet. And then they just kind of go back and forth. And then she says, like, I miss your mom so much.
Yeah.
Like,
and I feel for her. Like, what is she supposed to do? You know? Like, she's Belly's mom. Right. So it's like an awkward position for her to be in.
And she tried. She tried to stop the whole thing.
Yeah. She really tried. She obviously loves Conrad so much. Like, she doesn't want to go through with it just as much as Conrad doesn't want to go through with it, but like they're both kind of in the same position of like, fuck, we're just gonna have to put on brave faces and feel it. And yeah, she goes, I miss your mom so much, and Conrad's just kind of like, I don't even want to get into that part.
Oh yeah, and a lot of Susanna in this episode, and I think that that always tints these episodes with sadness. Like, I feel like there's always a little bit of a cloudy haze whenever that has to come up and everything, because it really is, that's the one question that no one can ever get the answer to, which is like, what would Susanna say in this situation? Yeah. And I personally think that she never would have thought that Jeremiah and Belly should get married. Like, I think that she really would be like, are you guys fucking crazy?
No.
And everything we know about her says that's how she would act. I also think if she had been around, Conrad wouldn't have been so distant for so many years.
For sure. Well, I mean, like,
why would he be?
Yeah, because she wouldn't have died and he would, So, but yeah, I mean, like, even and you could tell that obviously this happens later on, but like with the letters that she writes, like, know what she wanted or what she thought was gonna happen. So Conrad and Laurel have this really sweet moment, sad moment. Conrad gets up and kind of leaves her sitting out there by herself, and that's when it cuts to Stephen and Denise, and then now we're back to Belly. Yep, she's in her room. It's the same night. She gets up, goes swimming. You can tell she's like really in her head. She's swimming. She's sitting in the water or whatever. And I think that's kind of when she realizes, all right, like, I have to tell him now or never, Yep. So she gets up out of the pool, goes into Jeremiah's room, and basically tells Jeremiah everything that Conrad said, and Jeremiah freaks out. Yeah. Rightfully so.
But also I'm really proud of Belly, and I admire Belly for the honesty, because while I don't know what I would do in that scenario, I would maybe... in my head, I would like to think I do the right thing and like tell about it, because I think that they do have, despite their flaws, Belly and Jeremiah, they have like established this no secrets thing. And since the Cabo stuff, it seems like they've upheld that. Yeah. And I do think that that's a really important part of like a relationship and a marriage and everything. And kind of goes back to what Belly said to Conrad last episode, being like, Jared loves me no matter what. Yeah. And he doesn't take away
when
his
things
love
get hard.
if things get hard. And I think that she really is putting her whole self into this. Yeah. And this moment of her telling Jeremiah what happened, I think is really mature. Yeah. Even though it's a difficult conversation to have and will probably fuck up their relationship permanently. But
and I think,
how can you get married with that on your chest? And it's like totally. Every family event you go to, your husband doesn't know, and he's in the corner pining for you. It's like, it's too awkward. You got to say it out loud.
Yeah, that was like my biggest point of like why she did it, because they're literally getting married tomorrow. Like, you just can't get married with that in the back of your head. No. Like, it's just not fair to anyone involved. No. And I think
it wasn't Belly's fault.
Yeah, and I think a little bit of her was hoping, from her face expression I couldn't really tell, but like maybe a little bit of her was hoping that like Jeremiah would be like, I'm so sorry that happened to you, like, I love you, like, he shouldn't have done that, like, whatever. But instead he hits her with like, I fucking knew it, like, all this time. But he hits her with, he knew Conrad still loved her. He was like, I've known that he's loved you this whole time. And I was like, I cannot believe he just said that out loud.
I said it right here too. I said Jeremiah confirming that Conrad always loved Belly, which is
and it confirms exactly that he knew this entire time.
Exactly, and it also confirms for Belly that this has been going on and she's
been oblivious to it. Yeah.
And
he's like, I see the way you look at her, I see the way he looks at you.
It's egregious by Jeremiah for seeing all this, noticing all this, and also never
and then using it against her.
Yeah. Fucked up.
So then the next morning is the wedding day. And Jeremiah is missing.
Runaway groom. He gone. And nobody knows where he is.
Nobody knows where he is. Steven walks into the room with Belly. He's like, what the fuck is happening? Belly tells Steven what happened with Conrad and that she told Jeremiah. Steven goes and confronts Conrad. He's like, dude, what the fuck are you doing? Big brother moves. Just being protective.
Stand on fucking business, Steven.
Hell yeah.
He crushed this moment.
Yeah.
And he said, he was like, he basically went in there and was like, Conrad, what the fuck? Blah, blah, blah. Jeremiah's missing. Blah, blah, blah. Like, why'd you do that to Belly? Whatever. And Conrad's like, I don't want to hear this right now, Steven. Like, whatever. And he's like, well, you're going to hear it.
Yeah,
because that's my little sister and that's my best friend. And you've been gone for years. And I was like, good for you, Steven.
Good for him.
Because despite the fact, we all love Conrad and we all are love is love and we're excited about, him and Belly, whatever. Deep down, though, Conrad abandoned all of them.
Of course.
Including Steven.
Yeah.
And I feel like Steven gets left out of that a lot, too, because he was, he's best friends with Jer. He was also super close with Conrad.
Of course.
And he tried really hard during, obviously, Susanna died. And even before that, Steven was always, a really good friend. And he always just kind of got shoved to the side because they were all wrapped up in the Belly drama.
Yeah.
And it's like, is that how you treat a friend?
Yeah.
So proud of him for standing on business, for speaking up, for getting him mad about it. He had every right to, I think.
Yeah. Steven, I like this line. Steven hits him with you disappeared and we never heard from you. And Conrad goes, now you know why. And I was like, oh. And Steven was kind of like, oh.
Yeah. He got caught a little bit there.
Yeah, but
and I think that he
Steven was super valid in his anger.
Yes, for sure.
So then Belly makes her way to the country club. She's in her little dressing room area. They still cannot find Jeremiah.
At this point why doesn't Belly have someone doing her hair and makeup? It's literally her wedding day.
Yeah.
And she's alone in her room deciding.
Except she kind of gives me the, I'll just do it myself.
Fully.
Yeah.
But Kaylee's in charge of the wedding now. She knows what's up. They're at a fucking country club. They're going to just leave her to her own devices.
Yeah, she's going to have a straight.
Alone, by the way.
Yeah.
She's just by herself in that room.
I know. It was weird that she was by herself the entire time.
Yeah.
I feel like my sister.
For artistic purposes, but
yeah.
Any wedding I've ever been in, whatever, there's at least 5 to 15.
Yeah, I feel like I didn't leave my sister's side the entire time.
Of course not.
Yes. So Laurel comes in. She gives Belly a letter from Susanna. She's like, Jeremiah got one too, but she doesn't open it. Whatever.
I get big gasp. From me
big gasp
when she pulled that out. Well, she put it on the counter or put it on her thing, and I thought it was from Laurel.
Yeah, me too.
I was
at first,
maybe this is a sweet mother to daughter pass on, whatever. Then when she said it was from Susanna, I was like,
yeah,
on the floor. Think about Susanna having to write those letters before
sad.
She died. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Everything about it is just so sad. You feel bad.
So basically, Steven tells Conrad, hey, you got it. If anyone can go find him, it's you. You have to go find him. Whatever. That's your responsibility. Co-best man.
Yep. And just being his brother. It's step up. Or no, he said, go and fix what you broke.
Yes, which is a great line.
Great line.
So Conrad's driving around trying to find Jer. He looks over at the letter that Susanna wrote for Jeremiah in the passenger seat, and it kind of clicks to him. I know where Jeremiah is.
Susanna's bench.
Susanna's garden. Susanna's bench. Conrad sees him there. They get up. Conrad's like, you can hit me if you want. He's like, and then
he goes, you can hit me if it make you feel better. And Jeremiah's like, that'll only make you feel better.
Yeah.
That's not,
And, they kind of start getting into it. Conrad says that he knows about Cabo.
I know about Cabo, you dick. That's how he said it.
I know about Cabo, you dick.
I know about Cabo, you dick. Yeah, I was like,
love that. And then
Jer
just fucking clocks him.
And
then he punches him again in the gut.
It was crazy.
It was crazy.
They hate each other.
Yeah, they hate each other.
They really do hate each other in this moment. And I don't blame them. I think that they're just exposing all of each other's flaws. They're thinking the worst of each other.
Yeah.
And Belly's caught in the middle. And it's almost like a dick measuring contest of who loves Belly more.
For sure.
And I think that both of them, obviously I think they both love Belly. I think that both of them have this like draw to her because Susanna loved her so much.
Yeah.
And I think that they feel like she is our family because our mom said so.
Yeah, 100%.
And someone's got to marry this woman.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So.
So then, when Conrad's on the ground, because he just got punched in the gut.
Yeah.
He says, I think Belly's the only girl that I can be with. Jeremiah's like, what the fuck? And so Jeremiah, and then, he gives him the letter. Jeremiah opens the letter. He starts reading it. And then he's like, so distraught, starts crying bad, hands Conrad the letter, and he says, you need to leave, and I never want to see you again. Like, I don't want to see you in my life. I don't want Belly to see you. Like, I just want you gone.
He says, you'll never see us again, or something along those lines. And he's crying a lot, and he starts reading the letter, and then he doesn't really finish it. And like he's kind of reading it, whatever, and you can tell he gets frustrated and like gives it back to him.
I tried to pause it.
I paused it to read a little, and it said essentially like I'm
so excited for you, and like I see the way you look at her, and I know it's true love. Like you too.
It was essentially like if this day it said like I was lucky enough to see you in love and being loved, and if this day is anything compared to that, then I know they're like she didn't say like Belly's name.
Yeah, but she was like
explaining
implied.
Like, I'm so glad I was able to see you be in love and be loved before I died.
Yeah,
essentially, and so it was obviously talking about Belly, but yeah,
which is a very hard thing to read. Susanna.
Oh wait, sorry. Which is the letter? It was a mistake
to Conrad. Yeah, yes. Sorry, we didn't clarify that. The letter ended up being mishandled, and Conrad's letter ended up in Jeremiah's envelope.
What a fumble by Susanna!
Jeremiah, I know. Well, she was like about to die. Like I'm sure she was like, fuck. Like
someone's got to double check for her.
I know.
That was
brutal.
Again, that's a moment where I feel bad for Jeremiah. Like he thinks he's going to open a letter from his dead mom. And it's
Conrad's
like,
letter
about
his wife.
About Conrad?
Yeah.
Like, fuck. I would snap too. I would snap
for sure.
too.
So we're back to Belly's dressing room. Taylor walks in. Jer still hasn't been to the country club, and people are starting to arrive. Taylor finally spits it out. She's like, well, Taylor like doesn't want to say it, and Belly like is like, just say it. Like, I want you to just say it.
Yep.
And Taylor says she doesn't think that Belly should get married, and she says that she knows Belly doesn't want to get married.
Yeah.
And Belly instantly gets mad at her, even though she said to say it. And it's because she didn't want to hear it, even though she knows it's the truth. And she just basically starts. Oh, and also Taylor says like, you guys are so codependent. Like,
yes,
you got.
I said Taylor's wisened up. Like she I think has always seen it for what it was, and she was just trying to ride for her friend.
Of course.
But now it's like it's do or die, and she's like, you guys are codependent. You don't even want to do this.
Yeah.
Why are you?
And
doing
she brought like she was like, you brought like I'm pretty sure she said like you left like you put Paris like you left Paris.
God, wait, yes, she goes okay, so she's like if I'm getting this right, like you're not going to Paris for Jer, you didn't talk to your mom for Jer, and now you're gonna push me away too, like that's what does that tell you? And she was like, Belly's like, and I'm always gonna pick Jer because that's like we are a unit. Like he's who I'm gonna pick over everyone. And that's what she's like.
That's not how it's supposed to be.
She's like, that's love, and Taylor's like, no, it's not.
Yeah,
like that's codependency.
Yep,
and she's right.
So
and she would know because her mom,
of course. So then Belly starts to like rip on Taylor, being like, you wouldn't know anything about love, like blah blah blah.
Total projection. Yeah, that made me really upset. It was
so mean and unnecessary. And
totally.
Belly was just totally projecting, like you said.
Completely.
And Steven kind of comes into the room while this is happening, and he starts to stick up for Taylor.
He's like, enough, Belly. Yeah.
And he's like, Taylor's like the best friend you'll ever have. Like, what are you talking about? Which I love. Steven, again, the king.
Steven, straight up star of the show. Like, he's the voice of reason in that home. Like, I love him.
Love him.
Yeah.
So then Jeremiah finally comes back. He's sad. He's upset. He puts his hand in the ice bucket to look because he's like.
Wait, he walks into like the groom's room and all of his like douchebag boyfriends from the bachelor party are sitting there. Yeah, Redbird with his pink suit.
Yeah,
and
so classic.
And they're all standing there with champagne and they're like, I don't know, Jeremiah. Like they're just like yucking it up. And then he shows up and he's like, oh, what's up, man? Like, where you been? Like, they're so fucking clueless.
They're so dumb. Typical frat idiots.
And also too, it's like those are supposed to be Jeremiah's best fucking friends, and not one of them was out driving around looking for him, calling him, whatever. They're just getting ready and hoping he's gonna show up. Like,
who you surround yourself with and who your friends are says 100% about who you are.
Yep.
And I think the fact that he's still friends with fucking Redbird says exactly what it just says anything in and of itself.
His friends are children.
Yeah.
Yep.
So when Jer's like in the room, he's in his own dressing room. He's icing his hand. He sees that Conrad left a note on the table with Susanna's ring.
I started sobbing at
Ugh,
this.
me too.
Sobbing.
And he says that, and on the note, he says like Belly should have mom's ring.
Ugh.
Literally kill me and murder my family.
It's crazy. Yeah, he was like, I asked Dad to bring this from home or whatever. Yeah.
So as Jeremiah's looking at that, Conrad walks into Belly's dressing room. What the?
Closes the door.
Yeah, which is crazy.
Risky move.
He says that he needs to say something, and she says, "You've said plenty."
Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh shit!" So as he's like, as you think
she's like, "Get out."
Yeah, and he's like, "You said plenty. Like, get out." As you think he's about to walk out, he actually doesn't, and he's like, "Sorry, but I'm gonna leave. I'm not gonna be a part of the wedding. It hurts too much being near you like this, and I just can't be a part of it." And he's just like, whatever. She's like not saying anything, and he's just like, whatever happens, everything was worth it to me. You were worth it to me. Everything. And then he kisses her on the forehead. Oh,
the forehead kiss. I was like, no, stop.
Kill me. And then he walks out of the room, and Belly's
before that, he gets real close to her face and says, I wish you both the best.
Ooh.
And I was like, it literally chills up my fucking
spine. I know.
I
was like, he's getting really close to her.
Through tears in his eyes. Like, I thought they were going to kiss. I was like, they're going to
kiss. Me
too.
I was like, he's going to, I thought that Jeremiah was going to walk in.
Me too.
With him being really close
scared.
together. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he kisses on the forehead, leaves the room, and Belly's kind of like, I think in my heart, I know that this is the last time like I'll ever see Conrad. Last time at least I'll ever see him like this.
Yeah.
And like I don't even know what to do about it. Like my heart is so broken. And she says like bye bye birdie.
The bye bye I know. Literally chills. The bye bye birdie line was so perfect.
Yeah.
And so sad.
Like it so really, sad.
And right, she said, I'm sorry if you literally just said it, but she was like, yeah, we were saying goodbye, but it was not like other times. Like it felt like we were saying goodbye forever.
Forever.
Like, it really felt like the final.
Yeah.
You know.
Which is just so heartbreaking. Steven walks up to Taylor. She's at the table by herself.
Wait, but how about Denise being a real one? When Steven walks in and he's kind of whatever, and Denise goes up to him and he goes, "She's over there." And
which
Taylor
I love.
At the table, she's like, "Just letting you know." Like walks away. Fucking Denise.
Love
man.
Denise.
I can't believe
we've come around on Denise.
We've come so far around.
Yeah.
On her.
Now Denise is wing womaning for Steven.
She's great. She's a real one.
Yeah. So Steven walks over. He reassures Taylor. He's like, you are such a good friend to Belly. Like everything you've done is always to try to help somebody or for the benefit of somebody else. And like, you know, and I'm really happy. Like he's like very complimentary towards her basically.
Yeah.
And, you know, Taylor's like, how's everything with you and Denise? And he's like, you know, it just wasn't there. And she's like, wait, it wasn't there? Like, whatever. And, like, they were starting to get close. Yeah. They're flirting.
Now they're right back into their, like, flirty banter, like,
and
tone.
As they're kind of, like, getting into it, Paige, the wedding planner, comes and interrupts Steven. He's like, I got to grab you. And he's like, to be continued, which is very cute.
Love.
So then, finally, Jeremiah comes into Belly's dressing room. Jeremiah says that he doesn't want to talk about it. And that Conrad is the one that leaves. He doesn't leave.
Yep. This is a crash out of epic proportions.
Yeah, big time.
He's bottled it all up. He should have had these conversations. He should have expressed these worries about Conrad to Belly months, years ago.
Yeah.
Like there are things that he's clearly convinced himself.
Yeah. He'll never,
and he just can't even.
Yeah.
You know,
he'll never be able to get over it.
It all out. You know?
Yeah, which is valid.
Yeah.
Basically, Belly's like, no, like, we need to talk about this. Like, we can't get married and not talk about everything that just happened.
Yes.
So he's like, all right, whatever. Like, they're fighting, bickering, whatever. And Jeremiah says, look me in the eyes and tell me that you don't love him. And she says, I love you. And he said, that's not what I asked.
Crazy. And as soon as he said that, I was like, not a fucking chance. She says no about not loving Conrad.
And he says, do you love him too? About Conrad. And she says, yes, I think I'll always love him a little. I'll always have him in my heart, but I choose you.
A piece of him in my heart.
Yeah, which is like, you can't go back from that. Once you say I'll always have a piece of him in my heart, that you can't. And it's your
really
brother.
Hard. Right, exactly.
You know, like that you just can't. And Jeremiah says like that's not enough. I've never had like the full belly and I don't want half.
Right. He's like, I want he says,
like all of
I
your
want
heart,
all of you, not just
a
part
piece.
of you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is so like, yeah, I mean, like, how are you supposed to tell someone on your wedding day that a little part of you is always gonna love someone?
No, it's
like,
crazy.
You can't get married after that.
Two things he says in this conversation where he's mad at first and then he's sad. It's very clear he's going through the
stages
spectrum
of grief.
emotions. Stages
Yeah.
of grief, literally like while
Yeah.
this is happening.
Yeah.
And he's like kind of yelling at her or whatever, but then he starts getting sad. He says, I see the way you look at him, and I don't think you've ever looked at me that way. Which, again, in itself is like... Crazy thing to say. But also, it's like, Jeremiah, why haven't you said this before now?
Why are you marrying her?
Why are you marrying? Right,
so
why
weird.
Are you marrying her?
Like, that's weird to me.
You don't have to... Right, again, it's like, well, what are your intentions? Like, you just want to beat your brother? Like, that really has never been more clear at this moment. And then... Belly kind of goes on to, she's reiterating this feeling of there's always a piece of him, whatever, blah, 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 and but I choose you, I love you.
Mm-hmm.
And he says, you can't marry me to erase him.
Yeah.
And I was like,
damn, he hit her hard with that.
And he's fucking right. And
yeah.
That's exactly what Belly's doing. She's trying to put a Band-Aid on a bullet hole and just act like it's all fine and dandy and whatever.
Yeah. And he reveals that he knows about Christmas.
Yes.
And Belly was like, oh, fuck.
Which was huge.
And he's known before spring break.
Huge.
So he picked that fight and cheated on her all because he found out that her and Conrad spent Christmas together. Meanwhile, nothing happened.
Right.
But he was so jealous and so upset that she didn't say anything that he cheated on her.
His excuse was, she was like, why didn't you bring it up? And he was like, I was waiting for you to bring it up. And I felt like in that moment, he was almost... trying to justify what he did because of Belly not telling him about being at the house with Conrad during Christmas.
Yeah.
And I think too, it all is wrapped up in like embarrassment and feeling foolish because he explains that he found this out when he and his dad went to go visit Susanna's grave.
Yeah.
And a neighbor was around and was like, oh, I saw Conrad over Christmas. And Jared, that's when he clocked it. Like Belly was here at that time and she didn't fucking tell me this.
Yeah.
And so comes home to Finch, picks a fight, goes on spring break, hooks up with the infamous Lacey Barone.
Yeah.
And after that,
and I
he's just a
actually
piece of shit.
watched a
Spiteful.
TikTok. I think I sent it to you. It was either TikTok or Twitter, but it was like, wait, someone tweeted or whatever. They were like, I think Jeremiah knew about Christmas before spring break, and it was like all these little like facial expressions and stuff, and turns out to be true.
I really didn't. Maybe I just wasn't.
I didn't have an idea until I watched that TikTok, and I was like, oh shit, maybe he does.
I just kind of thought like he's so clueless he wouldn't even notice that Belly was acting different. You know, like that just doesn't seem to be his style.
So that whole thing was revealed, which was a crazy revelation, and at this point, Belly is still like kind of fighting for him. Like she's still kind of like, we can make this work, whatever. And she says in like her inner monologue, like because Jeremiah says something, and she says like,
he's like, I love you so. He's like, it's so hard not to love you, or like I don't know if I'll be able to not
be in love with you or something.
I don't know how to not be in love with you.
And she was like, in this moment, like I knew that if I said to him like, let's just get married, like he would do it, but like I just can't do that anymore. And that's when he hits her with the you can't marry me to erase him, and she's kind of like fuck, crying, and Jeremiah walks out. So then Cardigan.
Gia, when Cardigan, you know that I have a weird like crying thing about Cardigan. When Cardigan kicked in the do-do-do-do, I was immediate sobs. I couldn't. What a perfect song for the moment. Sad.
And when I felt like I was your old Cardigan under your bed, you put me on. It said I was your favorite.
Oh my God.
It's so Belly Conrad. It's so Belly Conrad.
It's so like.
Perfectly explains the moment.
Jeremiah, like that whole, you know.
I know you come back to me. Yeah.
My God.
Great song choice. So
and they
Belly
play the whole thing.
Yeah, Belly is back at the house. She's packing up all of her stuff, kind of getting one last good look at the room that she's lived in her whole life.
Yeah, that's tough.
So
she's having
sad.
And now
this is the bigger breakup, I think, her in the Fisher house.
100 I said literally having to give up the cousin's house is worse for her.
Worse.
And to be honest, like I don't, you know, as someone who had an emotional attachment to a house, like I get that feeling. And I think too, like, not only has Susanna passed away and she made a mess of her relationship with the boys and it, you know, it was kind of all
everything that she's known is gone.
Yeah. And it's like, this is an emotional moment, and she's in that house and it clearly means something to her, and she has all these good memories there, and she was given the key and she thought it was going to be hers forever because she's in the family and whatever. And so having to just like, you know, put all those memories into a box in the back of her mind because it's no longer her present is in itself a huge change in her life and a big step forward that I don't think she anticipated having to
100%. One of the hardest things I think is like, I mean, like when my parents sold like my childhood house, like that was one of the biggest losses of my life.
Of course. I felt that way about my grandparents'
Yeah.
house.
So
it just
like,
was like I can't.
It's so brutal. So I can't even imagine if my house was on the waterfront in Cape Cod with a pool.
Literally the most beautiful house you've ever seen. So like, $1 billion home with perfect hydrangeas outside.
Right.
Like,
exactly. Like, so I totally understand how, and I know you do too, and how she felt in that moment.
Totally.
You know, Laurel and John are packing up stuff, and Belly leaves the key that Jeremiah gave her
with the seashell
with the little seashell, so sad, on the kitchen
was
table.
A sweet thing.
That was a sweet gesture.
Like, it's a sweet gesture. Yeah.
So she leaves the key. She gets in the car. She's like, look, her head's out the window. Cardigan's playing. She's leaving Cousins. She goes to the airport. Yeah. At first I was like, oh, is this a train station? It's the airport.
It's the airport. I also was confused, like, now how much, I would love to have known how much time had gone by.
Yeah.
Like, she's got this, she's
like, was this still the wedding day, or was this the next day?
Right. And it must have just been like the next day.
Yeah, I think so too.
And also, suddenly she's got like a backpack through Europe backpack. Where'd that come from? Yeah. And it seems to be full of everything she needs to
that's the
go
thing
to an airport. Okay.
Well, yeah, that's more I was thinking, because she only has like a little carry-on and a backpack.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, clearly she's going somewhere with no. Well, I think from what it seemed like, maybe she was planning on flying home, and then last minute was like, fuck it, I'm going to go to Paris.
It kind of seems
that way. Because it looked like when she was looking at the departing board, it looked like she was like looking for something and looked over to the side and was like, oh shit. She walks over to the ticketing booth, and she's like, "Can I get one ticket to Paris?"
Which is like a thing that only truly happens in movies. Like, I don't think you can do that. Like, I don't think you can like go up to the ticket teller and be like, "One ticket to the 1020, one seat."
Well, I think if the flight is open, I think you can.
Can I guess so.
Like if you're 2 hours beforehand or 3 hours before check-in, whatever. Yeah,
so true. But yeah, so
but I mean, I get like you cancel your wedding. I think I would the first thing I would do is get on a flight to Italy, honestly.
Same.
So I don't blame her at all.
And also, like in that moment, I was really happy. I was like, yeah, fuck yeah, girl. Go to Paris.
Go to fucking Paris.
That's what you're supposed to do this whole time.
Yes.
And the timing lines up too, because remember, like they're literally supposed to start school next week. And that's why we really love to know the timing of it, because, you know, did she go set it back up like, hey, I'm ready to study abroad again? Like, did she take or did she just last second like, I'm going to fucking Paris?
Yeah,
you know
I
mean?
wonder.
But she seemed prepared. Like, again, that backpack is very clearly like a backpacking backpack. Like,
yeah,
it was full of, you know, you've seen those people who go in hostels
for sure,
and shit like
for
that.
sure.
Like, that's the kind of backpack they have. And yes, I would love to know if how that came about.
If it was a
really
spur in the moment. I think we'll maybe find that out next episode, hopefully.
It looked like a split decision.
Yes.
But she seemed too prepared for that.
It's a huge trip to make on a split decision.
Yeah.
So, you know, she's walking through the airport, she's boarding her flight, she looks to her side, and who does she see? Conrad. But when she sees him, I was like, oh shit, is she like hallucinating him? Because like it looked like he was kind of like a figment of her imagination
for a second.
But then as a person walks by, I was like, okay, as this person walks by, he's going to change into someone else because as she's just hallucinating. But no, it's still him.
It was still him. And even she's like, what the fuck?
Yeah, in her face, she's kind of like, wait, what? And boom, it ends. I knew you. Stepping on the last train, marked me like a bloodstained eye. So good.
Was unbelievable.
Yeah.
What an ending to the episode. Ending. Obviously, you know, I'm waiting. I'm holding my breath for next week as always. But I think that moment of like, yeah, of course he's at the fucking airport. Of course he's waiting at the gate that's next to hers in this last minute, whatever the fuck, to Paris. Like,
they're just meant to be.
How do they keep, like, how do they keep coming back together?
Yeah, the universe. And like, the universe is bringing them back together in all these moments. And it's just like all these signs that they're missing. And it's just, I couldn't believe my eyes. And then that's why I was like, wow, we're going to get so much more than what the book gave us. Thank God. Because that was my biggest concern. If they were going to handle the ending the way that the book handled the ending, it's the worst. I think I talked about this last episode maybe, but
I think so, yeah.
It's the worst ending. It's so unsatisfying. So to know that it's not gonna end like the book is really exciting.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
I'm very, very excited to see how this plays out.
Me too.
Obviously, it's going in our favor.
Yeah.
If you're Team Conrad. But
I have someone commented on my TikTok. They were like, Jeremiah Gavin was like seen in Paris filming for like 2 days, but they also saw Chris Briney. Conrad was also there too.
Okay.
So people think maybe Jeremiah comes to Paris as like one last goodbye or something. I don't know.
I would love. Here's what I would really love for the Fisher
family,
Conklin
squad.
family.
Yeah.
The group.
Mm-hmm.
I would love for there to be a little time.
Yeah.
Between this mess and whatever conversations they have in the future. Let Belly go to Paris. Maybe let Conrad go with her. You know what I mean? Like maybe I'm okay with that.
I would even be fine if he didn't and like goes later.
Same.
Yeah.
So it's like kind of figure out their dynamic or whatever. And I would love for Jeremiah to realize that it would have been a mistake for them to get married.
Yeah.
And also to realize that even though they aren't getting married and even though they shared that time together, dating, whatever, somehow I just feel like he would be better at like staying friends.
Yeah.
And being friends again.
They were always meant to be friends.
They were always meant to be friends.
Yeah.
And I think that they can get back there.
Yeah.
Once there's a little space between, because I do think that like now at this point, Jeremiah is also hurt. His ego's hurt. His feelings are hurt. Like everything about it is hurt. So, and Belly is in his mind, Belly and Conrad are like the cause of it, but he can't ignore his brother forever. And I just don't think that, even though he looks like Adam and talks like Adam and walks like Adam, I don't think deep down he's actually a shitty person.
Yeah, I agree.
And I think he loves his brother.
Yeah.
And I think he loves Belly as a sister.
Yeah.
And eventually, I'm hoping that eventually they can all work out.
Yeah. So maybe he goes to Paris to make amends with Conrad and not Belly.
Maybe.
Which I would love.
Wouldn't that be amazing?
But yeah, I agree with that. They need some time. So kind of in the book, like the epilogue, like is kind of like spans that time out, but it's so quick. It's like, oh yeah, and then I went to Paris or I went to Spain and I had some adventures and I also got letters from Conrad, like whatever. Yeah, that's the whole thing. He like writes her letters while she's in Spain.
Which like of course.
Yeah, but
could have seen that coming.
Yeah, I feel like they need some time to let all the dust settle and then they can make all their amends. But you only have 3 episodes left, so we'll see.
Only 3 episodes left. It's all about timing, I think, too. Even the Conrad stuff, like it wasn't their time when she was in high school and he was going off to school. It wasn't their time right now when she was like about to get married to Jeremiah.
Yeah.
So maybe 5 years down the line, it will be their time finally.
Yeah.
You know, like just because all this mess has happened and all this bullshit's happened doesn't mean that they aren't still meant for each other down the road somewhere. It's all about the journey, y'all.
100%.
It's all about the journey. Really excited to see what happens next. Can't
me
wait.
too.
All of the book people can now be in the same shoes as I am. We're all in the dark.
We're all in the same shoes now.
So we're all really excited to see how things play out and looking forward to next week.
Me too.
Woo!
Love you guys.
Love you.